Hello again, it's Saya Reed, and this is day 3 of the Robot Junkyard build. Over there, you can see that we've got some mold stuff, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I forgot to show you this in my last video. This is my drawer of junk that I've been collecting. This is just some of the treasures. So let's look through here real quick. First of all, in this tin, there are a bunch of beads that I've put together, little glass beads that can be cooked in Sculpey, and I've made some Sculpey horns for dragons and stuff in the past, and I've got some little cat eyes. Got a few different pairs of those, and we might incorporate something living in our little junkyard, which I always try to include something alive, at least one something. We've got some more teeth and things like that in here. So we've got those things to choose from. And then we've got all this junk. And I'm sure this probably looks, you know, a little familiar to my regular 2D junkyards, but here's some big cords and there's little cords, and I threw my glue gun in here because it's junk now. But, you know, things like springs and just little pieces of junk and toys and that kind of stuff. I like to, just whenever I can, I throw them together in little things so I don't lose them. And I've got jars full of stuff and, you know, old clay bits and baubles that have broken over the years. Plastic lids and, you know, all kinds of things that don't even, that's interesting. So I'm going to put this over here, and this pile of stuff is our medium-sized pieces that we're going to be using next in our build. Some old hard drives. We've been collecting some of these pieces from Tiny's cat food that comes in these big packages, and I thought to myself, doesn't that look kind of like a car bumper or something, you know? And I can put plaster or clay or something in there and make a nice little, use it as a mold. So, and I can use it also as a structural piece. And I've got some weird sticky foamy things that we can just stick wherever. They've got these little plastic or sticky sides here. And we can glue those down. And I've got these rusty bits and parts, and I've got that bucket out in the garage too, don't forget. So, and I've got, you know, all these aluminum pieces and cardboard. So that's gonna be next. And here is our structure. Just one view of our structure there that we started to build. And let me get up here and we'll go back over here. Here is a piece of an old server that we've been taking apart. Phone I'm gonna take pictures with. We've got our robot bits. We've got our inspiration. And here we are back at my desk. And I wanted to show you guys what happened with this mold. And I accidentally got some powder in there, so let me... The mold's baked. You know what, I think what might be best is if I just put this phone in the tripod so I can use both of my hands. So I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. I'm going to move this box, but I wanted to show you that I got my new glue guns, and I ordered some colored glue. I was hoping that pink might be more the color pink that we'd be using, but this blue is the color blue that we'll be using, and I think I've given it away. Here's the blue color, and it's not quite the same as the one from our inspiration. I decided to go a little bit bluer rather than this little turquoise color here. But I just love this, and I love the colors of it. I loved everything about it. And I loved these little robots. I think they're so cute. My robots are going to look very different from these, but you know, what a cute little piece of inspiration. And I want to thank my mother-in-law, Belinda, for that. So, put all these things aside. Here's one of my new glue guns. It's a small one. We'll open up that and do some gluing of our structure in our next video. Here's my other one. Okay, so back to this doll's head. So let me just take some of this powder out of here. Can you see that? Yeah, there's some powder in the baby's nose. I'll get that out with a bigger brush. But, you know, I'm real pleased with that. And I think when we make a robot out of it with the clay, just press it in there. I think we should get a good impression, or a good mold. You know what I mean. Okay. So then I did a couple others, and if you can get these wet at this point and it won't hurt them, so I might just take a little bit of a damp towel or something and just kind of go over these. But oh, so there's a piece, and I made a few other things, and then I baked them. So I'll just kind of show you what I've done so far. I made a couple of real tiny robot heads. Here's one. Here's the other one. Let me dust it off. I don't know, maybe you can see more features with the dust in there. Little robot head. Sorry, I dropped it. I'm trying to find a... And it is very, very firm. It cooked at a very good consistency, all this clay did, and I'm real happy with the mix I made. It almost feels like real clay. So, and by real clay, I mean dirt clay, not polymer. And I made a few of these little, you know, little decoration things that can maybe go on some frames, some broken frames or something in our junkyard. I like to have broken frames because I think that anyone who would be designing robots or throwing them away would probably be in some sort of, I don't know, artistic or educational form of office, and they would have frames for sure. And if they're going to scrap their plans, they might just throw the whole thing away. And then I made this tiny robot. Now this one's not cooked yet, so I'll have to be gentle. And there's still some work to do. I think I mushed up his little robot eye there. Or was that the mouth? No, that was definitely this way. Okay, well, I got some work to do. But anyway. Yeah, a little bit of work to do on this one, but once we paint this, it'll look like a nice little robot. So there's some that need to go back into the oven, or there's some that need to go into the oven, there's some that need to come out. So this one's done. I'll just brush off a little bit of the stuff. So that's basically what we did with our mold making. And I've got a little bit of clay left from that. So I think what I'll do is I'll just clean up my desk a little. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Remember when I said I didn't know if I would make a mold out of this? Well, I did. And it's about to go in the oven. So here's my cast. And I think it made a good impression. So we'll see how it works. I'm going to lay it in this bed. And I think this head's done, so I'm going to put this one in there as well. And I'll work on a couple of these other ones, these small heads. Oh, I made a mold out of one of the small heads. Do you see that in there? Maybe. So anyway, I plan to use this mold to make a smaller robot. And of course it's crumbling on me. No, it's not. It's not crumbling. Okay, there we go. So I'll use that one to make another type of head, and we'll make lots of heads out of that mold. Okay. So now my desk area is a little bit messy. So I'm going to pause, I'm going to clean up, and we will move on to the next stage. Hi everyone. We're here again. It's day 3 of the Robot Junkyard build. And my name is Saya Reed. I'll be your host, and we're going to talk trash. This pile is coming along so nicely, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Aileen's Tacky Glue. Do you see? I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold it in here. Aileen's. This stuff is amazing. It has held everything together. I squeezed a bunch, and a bunch came out, and I glued a bunch of other things. So that, along with this liquid fusion, these are the 2 brands of glue that I tried to use up. And, well, I did use up this one. While I was creating this, and everything has just held together so firmly. Nothing's moving around. I mean, all the base pieces are really in there. And we want it to be nice and strong. So now I've got my new hot glue gun, and I'm ready to give it a whirl. And I want to glue this piece in. We built this piece in one of our last episodes, and then my glue gun broke, and we couldn't get any more done that day. So I'm just going to take some of these loose pieces off that we kind of had pre-planned. And that's really glued in there, so I'm not going to move that. I'm just kind of wiggling things around to make sure that they're really in there good. And I'll take some pictures so you can kind of see what's going on with the build. In fact, I'll do that right now so you can. I'll show this in the video. This glue has really held to the base so well, and I'm really, really proud that it worked out so good. So let's go ahead and just use this glue gun and glue the rest of this to the base. So we just want it to, anywhere where it's going to touch the other parts, we want to give it some good glue. Come on now. And in one of my last videos, I think it was the first one where we were talking about building this, I said, well, you know, I think I might put some wires and stuff through the hole of this one. This was in a package of headphone speakers. So let's just get that in there real good. I don't know where it's going to stick to, but one of these holes will be a good little place for like a tube. Ooh, I stuck my hand to the glue. You know what? That was just not smart. Well, at least it wasn't very hot. I stuck it right under there. Okay, dangers of working with hot glue. Well, it looks like it's going to stick like it. I was just checking to see if I could get my fingers up through there to see if maybe I could get the wires in there, but I see that there's an opening here. And you know what? I just stuck my finger in the glue again. That's the way you get burnt. So in my first video on day 1, we started this build, and we stuck a lot of things together with just regular old glue, and I gave it some time to dry, and everything is just sticking together so wonderfully. I'm going to give this a little turn so you can see it. Let me get this out of the way first, because I won't get burned again. Here we go. So I'm thinking this is going to be the front. And this will be the back, of course. And then I'm going to glue this down here. This is already really firm here, and there's just a couple other little places where it could use some hot glue, so I'm just going to get to work. Oh dear. Drizzling glue. That's okay. I think I got that in all the touch places. And it looks like it could probably use a little right there, just a little adhesive. Let's just squirt some stuff in there. And so today I was reading National Geographic says that there's, well, this is an old estimate, but that there's 5.25 trillion pieces of trash in our oceans right now. Well, that didn't stick well. I feel like I almost need a little bit more of that Aleene's. Let's try this again. Where's it going to stick to? It's going to stick here, and it's going to stick there, and it's going to stick on the side a little. You know, this is just a, it's going to be a mess, and a lot of it's going to be hidden. So, it doesn't really need to be pretty. And we're not working with pretty right now, obviously. This is pretty ugly, and it's a big pile of junk. And, you know, it's not going to ever be really pretty. I don't think I've ever done a pretty Robot Junkyard. I think they just all kind of turn out that way because of the colors that I use and kind of the theme. It's kind of poppy. I don't think people really get the gist of my message that I'm trying to send with it, but that's okay. Everybody interprets art in their own way. So I've got a lot of these loose wires hanging, and this one has glue on it already. I've got a lot of these loose wires hanging so we can wire little pieces in, and it kind of adds to help the structural integrity. And I think I might have been a little lofty in my goal when I said I wanted to make something that was like 3 to 4 feet tall. I think that was a little bit, let's start small, is what I'm saying. Okay? And let's see what happens. I'm really not disappointed at all with this structure. So coming back to it the second day, I kind of see that there's some places where, you know, it could use a little bit of, I'm definitely going to turn that down. Let's turn it to low. I can see where there's some places that need glue. Okay? But a lot of it stayed put, and I'm really glad about that. And we want it to be nice and strong because it's going to serve as our base, and we're going to add a lot of junk, and we're going to make it look like a junkyard, you know, a miniature junkyard, but it's going to be it's going to be more organic. It has a lot of pieces jutting out and stuff, and right now it just doesn't look very pretty. This isn't staying put, so let's find a sturdier way for it. And I see that I've put some wire here. We can just turn it around. So it's kind of nice to have some pieces that are flexible, you know, because I don't like to be rigid. Here's the back we've got going so far, and that's really pretty, you know, plain. But I think this will be a good spot for, you know, anything to drizzle down or you know, whatever. And then I'll sign my name back here somewhere probably. And here's the other side I've been working on, and I've already started putting some circuitry type stuff on the bottom and expanding the borders of the base so that we have some things jutting out. And I know you have a really bad view, so I'm going to take another outtake just so that I can put it in the video and you'll see what I'm seeing from afar. And soon I'll figure out a way to get a tripod that's that shows a little bit more of the view so that you can follow along a little bit better. I know it's got to be frustrating because you can't really see what's going on. And it really is nothing but a mess, so I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to watch anymore. But I hope you'll stick around because we have a lot of more things to do. And I have so much more I want to show you. And there's so many more things we can talk about because there's a lot of trash in the world. And we don't have to be mean-spirited. We're not mean people. But I am opinionated. And I feel like maybe we should be talking about our trash a little bit more than we do. Where does it all go? Don't you ever wonder what happens when you throw some of this stuff away? Like, where does it go after that? It'll sit in a landfill or it'll go out to the ocean. That's kind of depressing in a way, and I don't mean to depress you at all. But these are the things I think about when I'm working on my art. This is too flimsy. I just don't think it's going to work. Let's just toss that. And let's reach for something else. Spider webs. Am I just old, or does everyone else think of Gwen Stefani when they talk about spider webs? I don't know. Curious minds want to know. Okay, so that works. That's working right there. And that will allow us to build yet another layer on top. Now see how it's a little springy, which is nice when you're working with polymer clay and junk. You want to be able to have a little bit of give because I'm going to be pushing sometimes, and I'm going to be trying to stick things in probably where they don't fit. And so we want a little bit of give, but we don't want it to fall apart. And so you kind of have to be a little strategic. We want it to look like it's going to fall apart. I'm having second thoughts about this thing that I glued here. But I think rather than trying to unglue it and then ungluing this thing that it's stuck to, I'm just going to try to bend it over. And there's a piece of wire here. I'm just going to stick it under that wire. Who knows what will happen with that there. Maybe I'll just take it out later, but for now, we'll just bend it. And, let's see. I'm going to go see if I've got any more big things that we can add. And if we don't, I'm just going to start with the little stuff. Well, the medium-sized stuff. So, I'll be right back. So, I got this big, nasty cord here. And we're going to find a way to incorporate it. And I know I had mentioned running some cords through that hole, and there's some other holes, so let's just go ahead and see what we can do. In all of my Robot Junkyards, I have 3D, or in all of my 2D Robot Junkyards, I have cables. Big cables, little cables, long cords. I think that's a good starting point, and maybe a good end point. Let's see, here. And I like the cords to look like they're running all through. So let's just run it all through. Now's a good time before anything gets really glued in. And this back area back here is a good place to have it loop. Because ideally this back would be sitting against a wall or something in somebody's home or wherever it'll be displayed. I doubt it would be somebody's home. I don't know why anybody would want a trash heap in their home, but I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it. Who knows? Well, anyway, for now it's my baby, and I won't talk trash about my baby. Okay. Except look how trashy my baby is. And these cords in here. Well, that's a good spot for that cord. Now, I don't want it to be too obvious, you know, that it's coming from... maybe we'll try to spread it out over here. How can I spread it out over here? This isn't even... oh, asshole. We'll just put it over through here. See that hole? Thread it right through there. as I was saying, I think I was being a little bit ambitious when I said I'd go with 3 feet. I think this is about, oh, maybe 1.5 feet. Let's see. Yeah, I was about right. So let's call it 1.5 feet. And so many of my my sculptures in the past have been miniatures. So I don't know what I was thinking about going with something that big, but let's start with something smaller. Half the size of what I was thinking. So, we've gotten quite a bit more done today. And I've used a few glue sticks up. And we've used up all of our big pieces. So, here are some small pieces we can use. I just dropped some more back there. So I'll pick those up in a minute. You can use these old hard drive platters. They're shiny and interesting. And if we put those inside, it'll make it look like there's metal stuff inside. And that's definitely what we want to do. So we'll find some flat places to put these. We can. Now we want to have some places where you can see down into the junkyard, because I like to have it look like things have cascaded and fallen down over time, and you can kind of see inside where things used to be, like there were structures and maybe there's something living in there. So I'm going to continue doing this for a while. And we've got some nice sturdy, and here's our top piece here. And for a moment there I was talking about how we'd want to place the main focal point. And so I'm thinking that this trash heap kind of overflows this way, and it builds up to where our robot sets on the right. And so that kind of helps me think about, you know, placement of different items and where I want other things to go. Like if the robot's sitting, you know, around here, then maybe we want to have a place where maybe her arm fell off, or maybe she was pointing at something, or maybe she has a little rodent friend or something. So we'll think about that as time goes on. And I like to leave my options open, and I like to have lots of intertwined things. And so I think I'm just going to keep applying the same types of rules that I apply to myself when I'm trying to make some sort of order out of the chaos when I'm doing my 2D Robot Junkyards. And so there we have it. I'm going to call it a night, and next time we talk, I may even have those molds, and we'll be making some impressions. So, thanks for joining us. This is Saya Reed, signing out.